Hello everyone and welcome to slashRant. My name is MurkyrDoom and today I'd like to welcome you to an episode of a new show that we call the Introductory. This is a show in which we'll tell you a bit about games that we think deserve a little bit more attention than they've got. So what will happen? I'll first talk about the game's basic information a bit, about who made it and when it was released and stuff like that. Then I will tell you a bit about what the game is like, what can you expect of it, what type of game is it, and lastly I will focus on why do I like this game so much. Now for the first episode I've chosen to do the game Dungeons of Dredmor. It's a game that I highly enjoyed, but I think it deserves a little bit more exposure. So what is Dungeons of Dredmor, you might ask? Let's get into it. Dungeons of Dredmor is a game that's developed by Gaslamp Games. It's their only game to date and they're currently working on a game called Clockwork Empires. Dungeons of Dredmor was released on the 13th of July 2011, so it's been out for quite a while now. And what is Dungeons of Dredmor? It's a roguelike game. And if you don't know what roguelikes are, I'll explain a little bit. Roguelikes are games in which you control a character that fights its way through a maze, or in the case of Dungeons of Dredmor, several floors, and finds all kind of loot, fights all kind of monsters, and it's in general an adventure game. Now, what they're known for is usually their complicated control schemes. About any roguelike game uses lots of keys on the keyboard, so what this does is it gives you a lot of options to control your character, but it also makes it a little bit hard to learn. Because there's so much you can do and so much keys you have to remember that things can quickly spiral out of control. Now, another very important part of roguelike games is permadeath. What is permadeath, you might ask? Well, that is, when a character dies, he's gone. He's dead, he's lost forever, he's into oblivion, you won't find it again, anywhere. And so as said, Dungeons of Dredmor is a roguelike game. And it's a roguelike that is both at the same time a tribute to the genre as well as a parody on it. So the game involves a lot of things that are involved in roguelike games, but it also kind of makes fun of it. And that's one of the things that makes Dungeons of Dredmor fun. Now next up I will tell you a bit more about the game itself. Now the first thing you do when you start a new game is you pick a difficulty and you can select whether you like to use permadeath or not. But hey, if you're not going to play a roguelike with permadeath, it's kind of like going to the movies and keeping your eyes shut. So after that you get this grid with a lot of skills on it, and you can pick up to 7. Some of these skills are very weird, some of them are very useful, but what it does is it gives you a lot of options to customize your character in a way that appeals to you. It also makes that no two playthroughs will ever be the same, that is, unless you pick the same skills, of course. Now, once you picked your skills, you get a little introduction to the story, which basically comes down to evil guy came back, you have to defeat him. Then the game starts, and when it starts, what you'll immediately notice is that you walk around in certain spaces. Now this is because the game is turn-based, so every step takes a turn, every attack takes a turn, but it's also possible to press the spacebar to skip a turn in case you want a monster to come closer to you, or if you want to rest or heal. Spacebar is a very useful button for skipping turns in this game. Now, roguelikes are a pretty old genre, and this has to affect that most roguelike games that you can find nowadays are still made up of ASCII characters, keyboard characters, so that's basically what the graphics are like. Right out of the gate, Dungeons of Dredmor throws one of the aspects of roguelikes overboard, and you can probably see that in the video. Instead of ASCII characters, it has a very cartoony graphic style, which already sets it apart from any other roguelike games that are out there. This also makes that the controls are way easier and much more visual. You can see what you need to do, where you need to click. When you want to pick up something, you just click on it instead of trying to find the right key to do it. So what this does, what this style has to affect, is that it actually is a roguelike with a proper user interface. Also, one of the first things that you'll notice is the fact that there is items lying on the ground everywhere. As I said, looting is a big part of this game. There is so much to find, so much stuff to discover, that it can sometimes be a little overwhelming, but don't worry because there are very clear descriptions, very clear visual descriptions about what items do and how they work. Now that I told you a bit about the basics of the gameplay and you kinda know what kind of game it is, I want to tell you a bit about why I like it so much. Now, one of the things is the very fun art style. I like the graphical style of it. It's very comical and looks kinda silly. That's something that appeals. What I also like about this game is that I've had an interest in playing roguelikes, but as I said, they're very hard games to get into. So I really like the fact that Dungeons & Dredmor uses a proper user interface that's not hard to learn. You can quickly get into the game and you can quickly start playing without having to learn all of the buttons and all of the things, and you can just very quickly start learning the game. Another thing is that it's a great game to kill time with. As I said, permadeath is something that roguelikes are very much known for, so when a character is dead, he's dead. And of course you can save your character, but once you load that character, and once it dies, the save game won't be there anymore. So your character is actually completely gone. So the ability to save the game, along with the fact that your character is gone once it dies, so you won't probably not get too attached to it, makes this a game that's perfect to play when you just want to kill some time or have a little break. The thing about this game that most appeals to me, however, is the fact that it is full of humor. There's a lot of references to basically anything geeky, anything nerdy, any kind of pop culture references. There's a lot of it in there. Almost any item or monster or thingy that you find has some sort of description with a reference to something or other, which makes it really fun to play. Especially, of course, if you're familiar with the material that it's being referenced to. So a quick recap of the aspects of the game that make me like it so much is it has a fun art style, it's easy to learn, it's great to kill time, and it has a lot of reference humor in it. And this brings us to the end of the very first episode of the Introductory. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video and that it may encourage you to have a look at Dungeons of Dredmor. If you have any suggestions or thoughts about this video, or the game itself of course, don't hesitate to let us know in the comment section below the video. And if you like this video, it would be awesome if you could give us a little thumbs up and maybe even subscribe to our channel. Well, thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you again soon. MurkyrDoom out.